Hey YouTubers, I thought that I would do a desk setup video. They seem to be pretty popular, and I thought maybe people would be interested in what you see behind me. For some of my videos anyway, I tend to change my location in the room depending on the type of video I'm doing. And I did just do a little bit of reorganization and a little bit of cleanup, so I thought you might be into seeing what I have going here. So this is my main desk. I've actually got a couple of desks in this room. This is the one that I sit at most of the time, and where my computer is set up. So let's talk about it. First off, in terms of computing, I have a MacBook Pro here. It's I think it's from probably 2011 or 2012. I used to stay more up to date on them, but I'm not coding on this one. I'm a software developer by trade, and I used to carry this into work, but I don't do that anymore. My work supplies me a computer, I guess for security reasons. So I've just been sticking with the one that I bought a few years ago, and it's still, I guess it's still good enough for my purposes. I'd like to upgrade, but I'm not in a huge hurry. The MacBook Pro is set up on, I believe it's called a BookArc, B-O-O-K-A-R-C, and it just kind of slides in there vertically. I really like that setup a lot. It's nice and clean. This here is an insert that's changeable, and it isn't perfect for this computer, but it's good enough for me. Their new ones have a little hook in here that you're supposedly supposed to use for cable management, but honestly it doesn't look that useful to me. Anyway, I really like that setup. It's nice and neat. One upgrade I made this year is I went to a 24-inch monitor. And this is an ASUS monitor, and it's working just fine for me. What I was using before was I think it was a 22-inch Apple Cinema display, which was fine, but when I started VPNing into work and using screen sharing, I found that I needed to have a full 24-inch monitor, WQHD, so that I could do a full sort of resolution screen share, because my machine at work is a 24-inch monitor. So it works out best that way. And I've been pretty happy with this monitor. My only sort of complaint is what I used to do is set up my MacBook Pro with, I used to set it up open, and I had a different type of stand. And so I had two monitors. I had the MacBook Pro's monitor, and then I had the Cinema display. Now I really only have room for the one, but obviously it's plenty big to display quite a few apps on it. So I'm getting used to the one display thing. It's not a hardship, of course. I actually like using the Apple wired keyboard. I don't know why they made it so that if you were going wireless you had to do without a numeric keypad and these keys here. So I don't find their wireless keyboard to be usable at all for me. So I use the wired one, and the benefit of that also is it gives you a couple of USB ports on top of the ones that I have hidden back there. And then I've been forever using this Microsoft wireless mouse, which works well. It's pretty well made. I think Microsoft does a good job of making mice. So I'm not 100% Apple. Then moving along, I've got my Audeze LCD-2s on the desk right now. I've been listening to those a bit, and I'm listening to those through this little Schiit stack. You gotta love that. This is a Magni headphone amp and a Modi DAC. And I've only had this little stack set up here for a week or so. I've had the headphone amp for a while, but I just got the DAC a little while ago. So that's a pretty nice little setup. That's for my computer audio, and at the moment, as I said, I'm using them with the Audeze LCD-2. If I want to listen out loud, I've got this pretty old set of JBL satellites, I guess you'd say, and a subwoofer there in the corner. And that stuff does a pretty darn good job. Also sitting here, this isn't really a part of the setup, I've got a HRT head streamer which is like a headphone amp slash DAC combination. A little pack of sticky notes, and I almost always have a memory card laying there. Moving on, I've got some photos that are really old. That dog is long gone. That's Jake, and that's my lovely wife. Oh gosh, 20-some years ago. Here I've got some pens and stuff in a little pen holder and a Day of the Dead shaker that's been with me forever. I kind of was into the Day of the Dead stuff, the Mexican holiday there for a while, collected the stuff. I keep a couple of knives here just to fool around with. This one's not much fun to fool with, but this Benchmade Griptilian I definitely play with while I'm reading or thinking about, you know, like coding or whatever, just something to do with my hands. I've got a few discs over here. This one is sort of a backup drive to these drives. This one is, who makes this? Sans Digital. This is a RAID 0. It can be set up in a number of ways. I have it set up RAID 0, and I believe it's 2 terabytes per disk. And then this over here, I use this for my Time Machine backups. That's a MyBook drive, I believe is what it's called. Down here I've got set up a pretty large USB hub back there. I think it has 10 ports, something like that, and it's never enough. But I have it sort of sticky, double-sided taped down to the desk, and that's fairly convenient. I can just slide stuff into it and it doesn't slip all over the place. And then here is my card reader, which I wish I could find a better place for this. I may do some more reorganization. It's kind of looks junky sitting there. Now moving up to the shelves. In this shelf I keep basically all my chargers, and I also have a little flashlight on a tripod deal, and I've got my color sync tool. It's a spider. And then up here, the current camera gear that I have on this shelf, I've got cameras all over this room, is my Leica R8 associated lenses. I've got a couple of Leica M cases back here. Can't really see them, it's kind of dark in there. And then I've got a few Leica M lenses back there in case I ever get into Leica M again. And this is a random Sony lens. And I believe this is a Leica flash, and just various and sundry other stuff, some filters, the grip for this camera when the motor drive isn't on it. Moving on, this last shelf is kind of a catch-all. In here I have some notebooks. This has some software in it in CD sheets for the software that I still have on CD. This I keep the maintenance records for my Boxster in, so that whenever I sell it, people usually want that kind of stuff when they buy a Porsche. They want to see all the maintenance that was done to it, so I keep that. I've got some stuff for my business. I have a consulting business, and that's some checks and some of the legal paperwork for my business. And then I got some Moo cards. I did a video on these some time back, and you probably can't see this very well. It's a USB headset with a microphone built in and a couple of old cameras. It's a Kodak Tourist and a Brownie. And underneath there's an old cigar box that I used to store who knows what. And this is, I don't know what this is. I think that's my Zoom H2 microphone. And then up here is a little Grundig shortwave radio thing. In a nice little leather case that my wife got me years ago. I love the thing. I never really use it. I just love the way it's designed and everything. So that's it for that shelf. Over to the side I have a credenza where I keep a Epson R3000 photo printer, and this is a really great printer. I love it. A little Gorilla Pod kind of lives in that space, and then we've got a HP LaserJet 1012, which I tell you folks, don't use an inkjet for black and white printing. Get one of these. I think it was 150 bucks, and it saved us so much money in cartridges. You wouldn't believe it. My wife prints a lot of stuff, and this thing really works out well. Backing up a little more, my office chairs, pretty fancy schmancy. It's a CXO. I can't remember the model number. It weighs a ton. I like it pretty well. The seat is memory foam, which is really nice. So it's very comfortable, except for the fact that its lowest position is a little too high for me. And people that work with me will tell you that I set my seat all the way to the bottom, always, and sort of sprawl out in it. And this one is maybe an inch higher than I would like at its lowest setting, but it's a really excellent chair, and it's really very comfortable and well made. Down under the desk I've got a series of cheesy plastic drawers where I keep USB cables and all that kind of stuff, so it's somewhat organized. That's all USB and FireWire stuff. Up here, it's kind of hard to see. Up here I've got power supplies and some audio bits and pieces, but mostly power supplies, and a box of random crap, and you know, it goes on and on. And down here, this is mostly power strips and monitor cables and network stuff. And then the bottom is some more power stuff, but mostly audio cables. I got all kinds of different audio cables in here, Monster Cable and Audio Quest, and you name it, there's probably one in there. So anyway, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed that little tour and that it didn't put you to sleep too much. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll catch you later.